I'm David Collins, I'm 23 and I'm a taxonomist.
The taxonomist is a person who deals with the science of classification. Here at Museum Victoria, I work in the invertebrates department, and so we're looking at the classification of marine invertebrates, ranging from worms to crustaceans to sea stars. Crustaceans can include things like crabs and shrimp, prawns, lobsters, barnacles even. Polychaetes are a type of worm, and mollusks include anything from snails up to even giant squid, so that's a really diverse, broad group. I often start the day by getting out some specimens and taking them to the microscope. Often these are specimens that maybe haven't been identified, so that can be a really quick task, but that can take even days at times, depending on what they are and where they fit. Often I'll do that in the morning, and then in the afternoon, if we have any new species, we're going to need to actually write about them and then publish papers on these new species to let the scientific community know what's out there. I've only just started working here really, so there hasn't been any big collection trips in that time, but in the future there will be. I'd love to be part of that. When it comes to classification, we are looking at the differences between animals. So we're looking at differences between the actual body parts of the animal. We're looking at the differences in DNA. And when we use a microscope, we can really separate them even further, so we can get them down to genus and species level by looking at some really minute character differences that are probably not evident to the naked eye. The shape of the body plates that we see on the tail, the shape of the legs, the ratio of different sizes of the legs. All these sort of characters can be important depending on what species you're looking at. The group that we're looking at today, they're characterised often by a long row of hairs along one of their legs. The hairs even can be important in defining a species. The difference between those three crustaceans, they all belong to the same order, which is the order Thalassinidae. There are three separate families, however. One belongs to the family Axidae, one belongs to the family Calicarides, and the other belongs to Callianacidae. Throughout most of my life, I wanted to be actually a vet, and I got to uni where they actually were looking at marine things, and I really loved it instantly. Really was interested. I loved it. I did a degree in science at Melbourne University, and I majored in marine ecology and zoology, and then I went on to do honours in the ecology of fish movement. When I was at uni, some people from the museum came over and helped us to ID some of the animals that we were looking at, and I thought it was really interesting. So I came up here and got a job volunteering. I did that while I was at uni, and then I finished my honours degree, and a job came up and I applied for it, and here I am today. It was as simple as that. But yeah, volunteering was the main reason I think I got the job. I think taxonomy is probably really crucial to any sort of life sciences that we do. I mean, if you want to work out where to have a national park or where to build roads and things, and you want to work out what's there, I mean, you're going to have to turn to somebody who asks, okay, what are these animals, or what are these plants? What's here? What's worth saving? Every part of science really needs, at some stage, a taxonomist to say what the animals are, what they're dealing with. Global warming and climate change can be really important in taxonomy because, I mean, where species are located can be potentially shifting with climate change. So you really need a taxonomist to work out, are we seeing patterns of species moving and what's sort of happening? Are numbers changing and this sort of thing? I mean, to find that out, you really need taxonomists to work out what's there and what's not there. If you're interested in taxonomy, a good place to start would be to go to a museum and have a look around and even talk to people, see what they do. From then on, you probably need at least a Bachelor of Science to get into the field, but an honours degree or a Master's or a PhD are stepping stones in this career. I love to swim. Swimming up and down a pool is really sort of a switch off time for me. I like to swim and not think about anything in particular for an hour. I love diving and collecting. It's a really interesting part of the job, so you could say I'm training up for that. I think I've got a great job. I think I'm really lucky. I get to work with really interesting people from all over the world. I get to see really interesting animals every day, and I get to be involved with making new discoveries in science, and hopefully stuff will be really important in the future.